Monday. I'm doing great. I wanted to discuss, and I'm gonna try to get through this without going off topic too much. But so the Moynihan Report, are that's what it's been called over the years. But it's the proper name is The Negro Family: The Case for National Action, written by Daniel Patrick Moynihan in 1965. So before I get into just little pieces, I just want to ask, why is it that when black people, and not this ain't all black people, don't get me wrong, but when a large number of black people hear anything that says that the Moynihan Report is not factual, or it's racist, or anything negative about this report, why is it that black people get so upset? And it's both men and women, so I can't pinpoint, like, why do men get so upset? Why do we get so upset? Because if you look at it in dispelling what was put out, right, then the whole premise of welfare destroying the black family goes under, goes under the table. It doesn't exist. And that is a talking point that has been going around for, I think, 50 years at least. So there's he ran for governor of Minnesota some years ago, and I talked about this guy before, Kendall Qualls, and he's a black guy, black father, and he, writes about, like, this article, "It's time to revive the Black American family." Well, just that in itself is derogatory, because in this day and age, you can try to revive any American family because it's all discombobulated. I mean, there are some still intact, but it's just not a black family thing. And he references the Moynihan Report and saying that March 2025 marks the 60th anniversary. So just think how long we've been first hearing this and then repeating this and then being told that this welfare, the social program, was responsible for dismantling and destroying our black families. And the biggest thing that always hear, besides the marriage rate, but that black women chose welfare over their husbands. Now I want y'all to, just for a second, just walk with me. They also say that Jim Crow and slavery were better for black families than after the civil rights era. So that means in that 40 to 50 to 60 year time frame, then black families should have been prospering. And that's what they tell us. But that, when you read into this, and we know just by looking at history, sometimes we don't like what we see, but it's just factually untrue. Yes, black people were moving up as far as getting better jobs and things like that, but it wasn't enough to sustain a whole uprise of the black culture. These were little pockets here and there because you had discrimination. Black people couldn't even vote then. So there was no way to get anything passed in black people's best interest based on the restrictions, the legal restrictions, and the separation. So he says in the Moynihan Report, and if y'all haven't read this, y'all should read it if you're interested in the welfare state and how come you always hear about this report and how he predicted what would happen to the black culture in 1965. So Qualls, he does mention the marriage rates, and he says Moynihan warned that high non-marital birth rates among black Americans, 24% in 1965, were contributing to a matriarchal society that weakened the role of the black man. Let's stop right there. And I said this before, like in the child support hustle when I talk, separation, I'm sorry, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer is one of the most strategic and effective strategies in order to separate, to destroy people, to, like if you have the husband and the wife and you have conflict over here or over there, and you got somebody in the middle, the separation is going to get you every time. I know that didn't come out right. I saw some people, hey guys, thanks for joining me. It didn't come out right, but what I'm saying is if you want to cause friction within an intact family unit, then you divide them and then you conquer them. So there he mentions that it weakened the role of the black man. So right there he's blaming the black woman for weakening the black man. So there's a separation, and we do it right now to this day. And they know that the division is what keeps us in conflict. But I'm not going there. I just want to talk about this because I can go. So he cautioned that social welfare programs would further erode family structures, leading to diminished male authority and abdiction of responsibilities as husbands and fathers, and a cycle of generational dysfunction. This is what Qualls breaks down as far as this is what he gets out the Moynihan Report. And people swear, like I have men arguing with me over this, and why I decided to do this video is that somebody commented and said, just what they would expect from, I guess, a black woman talking about this Moynihan Report. And I'm not dogging or dissing or saying it's your fault, it's your fault. No, it is the United States' fault. And I could take it all the way back to Reconstruction. Then when we were free, why didn't they just make black people Americans? Why did we have to be Negro Americans or, black Americans, African Americans? And we are a nation that separates black people based on our skin tone, based on our race. So if you go to Africa, it's not a black African or a white African. There's Africans. When you go to Jamaica, it's not a black Jamaica or a Chinese Jamaican. They're Jamaicans. So that's one of the things that stuck to me as far as the divide and conquer, because they knew to put Negroes into our own subset of the culture. They could blame a lot on the black race. So he goes in and everything is about diminishing male authority, taking responsibilities from husbands. When you look at history, the Moynihan Report was published or leaked in 1965. When you look at history, and when they say that all of this, trading your husband in for welfare and all that kind of stuff, they would have had to look at this from the 50s and the 40s to even come up to say in 1965, this is what's going on in the past. For him to be able to write a report analyzing what the state of the black family was prior to 1965, he would have had to do a study and have data from those previous decades. Well, there's a problem with that because black women wasn't getting welfare at all. There were small percentages, 0.1% of black women in the nation. So if Moynihan, and the reason why I'm touching on this, because the person who made the comment, I didn't hear back from them, but they said it's not a report, it's a study. That's what the Moynihan Report was a study. Well, it wasn't, but if it was, how could you get data from people about welfare and separation of families and illegitimate children if you wasn't even checking for that? You wasn't even looking for it. So I just want to, before I go, because I'm gonna back this up, I want to just state what was going on in the 50s. Now, this in this day and age, they try to minimize, if not romanticize, slavery, Jim Crow, even today, DEI and all this kind of stuff. Well, all that, they try to minimize the oppression that Black people have gone through in the United States. And really, it takes somebody to come out of the United States to look at the United States and just tell and really get the full picture of how deep this shit go. So I just want to read this, and this is in 1959. And this is from the Arkansas Gazette, September 1959. Now, mind you, for Moynihan to be able to get a study or information, these people about Black people, Black families' welfare, they would have had to been on welfare, and Black women were not on welfare in 1959. In fact, they were trying to push everything to prohibit Black children, orphans, widows from having welfare, and they tried and they tried. So 1959, what's his name? The Arkansas Gazette reported, I'm sorry guys, that the governor, this is the governor of Arkansas, when he was addressing a convention in Hot Springs, Arkansas, he said, and this is a quote, by using the goal, wait, hold on. Okay, I'm sorry guys. He says, by taxing the good people to pay for these programs, we are putting a premium on illegitimacy never before known in this world. So they're setting the plot of the illegitimacy rollout, what they're going to do with the Moynihan Report back in 59. And like I said, Black women were not getting welfare then. So to anyone who has ever heard this line before, which includes all of us in Arkansas, there's little doubt that Governor Faubus, F-A-U-B-U-S, was referring primarily to Negro unwed mothers and not to any, quote, good, honest, hardworking, unquote, white folks who have been remiss of getting down to the licensing bureau. In order, they just forgot, they just had other things going on, the white folks, to go down there and get married. So they weren't included in this illegitimacy portrayal that this governor is putting out. Nobody, of course, wants to put in light of defending both bastardy and Negroes in the same breath. And the few who might point to the lack of educational opportunities and generally depressed economic and social conditions as a factor of illegitimacy, and they're soon shushed into silence. Now, this is 59. Remember, everybody that pushes this Moynihan Report and this bullshit about Black families being destroyed by welfare always talk about how prosperous and how well Black families were doing in the 50s. Arkansas, the governor said it, and they still didn't want to give Black women that needed welfare. And before I go, I just want to point this out. Even after 1965, Black people didn't even come onto the rolls where they allowed their names to be added to the welfare roll until 1962. And that's when they reformed welfare from ADC to AFDC. They included families. Well, they still didn't pay Black women welfare, not like how we know it today. They had to go, Black women had to work for welfare. It wasn't where you just sat at home, even though that's how they portray it. And Black women, and by this time it was white women, it was a whole group, a whole movement of people wanting welfare. fighting for welfare because the kids still weren't being taken care of. And you have to remember, this welfare program is all about the children. So it wasn't until the 70s that the welfare movement organization, I'll get that. But it wasn't until after they fought and protested that they were even allowed to receive welfare. So it's not where, oh, since the welfare program started, black women, black families, black kids have been on welfare. It's just a lie. And even the numbers that they use as far as who's on the case files and how many black people, it's just a lie. There were white women, white widows and their children from 35 up until the 60s. And that's when they transferred white women to Social Security. They couldn't put black women on Social Security because they wasn't letting black people that had predominantly employment in agriculture and service, maid, housekeeping. They didn't let them black folks pay into Social Security. So they didn't have any money there. And then when they did the welfare reform in 62, then they allowed black people to start collecting Social Security. So that's just a little history lesson. I'm gonna get more into it. I've been studying this stuff and studying. I mean, most of us know that a welfare program cannot destroy the black family. There was a lot of stuff going on from forever. And so when the 60s came and they did, the Voter Right Bill, the Civil Rights Act, what's the last one? The War on Poverty. There was a lot going on because you had the Panthers, Malcolm X, it was out there, and Watts was going on. You had Vietnam. There was a lot going on, and somehow, out of all of that history, that black history, the only thing that they focus on is welfare and the black family, and how the man was taken out of the house, and matriarchy and all this patriarchy. Don't fall for the bullshit. I'm telling you, I don't understand how people that we know are 10 times, we live in a white supremacist nation. I don't know who's gonna get mad about it. I don't understand how come people don't just realize that. Like, it wouldn't be what it is if not for that. It's not my fault for saying this, not your fault for thinking it. It's what it is. It's just what it is. So instead of us pushing this bullshit for the younger people to read and say, oh, my mom put my dad on welfare, out the house so she could get welfare. That wasn't that much money. It was like $25 or some shit. So that's my goal, to counter what so many people put out over and over and over. Elon Musk just tweeted that little info thing with welfare, the black family, and all this. What are you talking about? Why are you in our business? So just please take heed. I got videos on here, some not as detailed as what this was. And like I said, I didn't have all my notes, but I'm going to get my notes together and we're going to break this down, because it's very important going into this new administration that we pay attention. Are we going to end up back on the plantation? Not democratic plantation, all that bullshit. I'm talking about actually fucking working for zero and being blamed because we're not working hard enough. So, yeah. That's it. I'm going to look at the comments real quick. Let me take this light down. Hey, Rod, what's up? You tell Fresh I said, what's up? I love you too. I can't see your name. I'm sorry, guys. I'm on my phone, and y'all know I'm struggling. Y'all know how I am with the lights and everything. I'm gonna have a studio one day and I can just go sit down and I can read and see and blah, 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 you know. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. Why black people get so upset. I know why white people get upset when I say that's some bullshit. Moynihan Report some bullshit. But why do black people get upset? Because that's basically saying they lied, and that ain't why, you know, we have this division. Why we, you know, seem to be in disarray. Because it can't be from a welfare program that paid no money to the black families, and they did not even include them. So let me know what y'all think. And thank y'all for the ones that joined. I'm going to try to do more lives. I haven't been doing them. It's been busy. I had a grandson. Hi, Fresh. So, yeah. It's been a busy one. So let me know. Of course, if y'all have any child support questions and I can point you in the right direction, I have no problem doing it. Don't pay nobody for these classes and all this kind of stuff so that you can beat child support and all that kind of stuff without doing your due diligence. Check their rap sheet. I have to call them criminals. Check their history though, for real, and see, you know, who they helped. Is their case, did they beat their case or get their case closed? Like, just ask, because I've, in my advocacy for a decade, I've talked to so many parents that have paid to get this paperwork that's basically, you can line your puppy's, you know, cage, kennel with it. It's just, it's dirt. It's dirt. So just please, I don't like to see people getting taken advantage of. So, yeah, thank y'all for joining me. Make sure y'all know these is on. If y'all haven't subscribed, subscribe. You can check out my website, thechildsupporthustle.com. My book is going to be out real soon. I know it took longer, but, you know, I got to research. So everything I say, you can go look it up. So that's going to be soon. So yeah, I'm talking about this Moynihan Report, the bullshit, and I'm ready to get into it. Men, black men, why y'all so mad? Black women, why y'all pushing that shit? All right, y'all stay up. If I figure out how to, there we go.